All right, guys, how to run your new pallet business by either renting a truck or a trailer. This is a fantastic way to get started, especially if you are bootstrapping it on a budget or if you guys are doing this very, very part time. Maybe this is a side hustle for some of y'all. Maybe you just want to make an extra one, two, or $3,000 a month. Or maybe you're of the mindset that you just want this business to completely pay for itself as it grows. Whatever your mindset is, guys, this is a fantastic way to get started. And I definitely would not hesitate to start out this way. But let's take a look at some math to make sure that it's even worth doing this. I'm already going to go ahead and tell you, spoiler alert, that yes, it is worth it. But I'm going to use my Home Depot rental rates in order to show you guys how much money you could possibly make by renting as opposed to buying when you get started. So currently right now at Home Depot, it's about $129 a day to rent a flatbed, and it's about $19 for every 75 minutes. That comes out to about $60 for 3.2-ish hours of drive time. That is actually a really good deal, and that is plenty of time in order to get a pallet load delivered, even if you have to make two trips. Of course, a lot of this depends on where you are geographically in relation to the place that you're taking your pallets. But I digress. If we are delivering 100 pallets at $6 a piece, and we are making a revenue of $600, and it costs us $129 a day to rent that flatbed, guys, that is still a profit of $471. That is not bad for a day's work. However, in reality, it's not going to take an entire day to do that. So let's say you guys take advantage of their $19 per 75-minute deal. I'm sure there's like a 2.5 or 3 hour minimum. So let's just go ahead and be conservative. Excuse me. Let's call it a 3 hour minimum. That puts you out about $60 for your load time. So if you guys can make your load and back in 3 hours, or if you have to make two trips, I think 3 hours is still plenty of time. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to ensure that you get in and out as quick as possible. And then you back that $60 rental rate, guys, that is still $541 that you have made in just a few hours time, and you are not out any money. You don't have any investment costs in a new truck or a trailer. I think that is a fantastic and a very smart way to get started. Okay, so having a plan is going to help you guys when you are doing the rental route. I would call my pallet delivery guy I would call my warehouse manager or my forklift guy a day or two before, and I would confirm that that is still a good day to make my delivery. You never know what's happening inside a company. You could have set this up a week ago, then all of a sudden the forklift driver took a vacation, and now the warehouse manager or somebody else is having to fill in with duties. And so calling ahead of time to make sure that you're still confirmed for your drop-off schedule is a really good idea, regardless if you're renting or not. I always call ahead of time and make sure that I'm still good to go, but I usually just do it the day of or the afternoon before. But if I was renting something and I knew that time was of the essence, I would definitely call 2 or 3 days ahead of time and make sure that we are still good to go. And then the morning of, before I sign the dotted line renting that truck, I will call or text the forklift driver or the warehouse manager, and I would say, hey, my ETA is 9 a.m. And then you may even say something like, hey, just, I'm not trying to be pushy, but I have another appointment at 10:15 that I have to get across town to. Is there any way that you guys could be ready to rock and roll, pretty close to the time that I get there? That way you guys can get in and out and return that rental truck as soon as possible, so your bottom line stays nice and in the green. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of resources that we have in order for you guys to find some of these trucks. This is the Home Depot website. I have not rented a vehicle from Home Depot in several years, but I did rent one of their flatbeds one time. I remember it being a really seamless and easy process. All I had to do was provide my driver's license and my proof of insurance, which I actually remember doing on my app. I just pulled it up on my Geico app and I showed them the insurance because I don't even print out cards anymore. So you guys can just pull that up more than likely on your app, show it to them, and you're good to go. So here are their rates, $129 per day. This truck right here looks like a 10-foot. I've never actually seen a 10-foot truck like this at any of my local Home Depots. Usually the ones I see out there are 12-foot, but I always see this same rental rate on those 12-foot trucks as well. This $19 per 75 minutes, and then you're looking at about $129 a day. I definitely would stay away from any kind of weekly rates or having it for more than one day. Unless you guys are going to, have daily pickups. But if you guys are having daily pickups and deliveries, you should be at a point where you guys can either buy yourself a flatbed or get yourself a trailer. Okay, so that is Home Depot. Lowe's is about the same, a little bit different though. So they have a 4-hour rental rate of $69. Don't get me doing short math, but $19 per 75 minutes. That's about $60 for 3.2 hours worth of drive time. So, I would say it's about the same. If it's $60 for 3.2 and this is $69 for 4 hours, that is roughly the same. So whichever one is close to you guys and more convenient or has the best options for vehicles, that's who I would go through if you choose Lowe's or Home Depot. Now here's Enterprise. According to the AI, Enterprise for a cutaway truck is about $59 a day plus 17 cents a mile. If that is the deal, that is a much better rate, but you guys would need to look at any other fees or anything that they may have involved to make sure that there's nothing tacked on that you don't know about. I know when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, they really don't get slick with any of those fees or anything like that. What you rent it for there at the counter is what you rent it for. Now, if you go over your time, of course, they're going to charge you more. But we've all rented vehicles before, or at least I have. I've rented a car, several cars, and we have traveled. And it seems like I'm always shocked and surprised at the very end when I get my bill, and I can't ever really understand why. So make sure that you guys understand all the fees and anything that's involved with going to Enterprise. And then the same thing would be with Penske. Looks like Penske right now has, let's see if we can find any rates. They got discount. Okay, so $130 to $1,200 a day. Obviously, we're not going to be renting anything that costs $1,200 a day. I would say that their smallest, 12-foot to 16-foot trucks are probably going to start around $130 a day. So with that being said, Enterprise is already looking way better. But again, you just want to check any potential fees or anything that come along with Enterprise. If you want really seamless, fast, ease of use in and out, I would say Lowe's or Home Depot would be the best for that. I've only rented from Home Depot. I rented several pieces of equipment from Home Depot. It is really easy getting in and out of there, I will say. And I've never had any issues with any of their equipment. So guys, check out what is going to be the best place for y'all. Oh, quick note. If you live in a town where there are any independently owned truck rental companies, I would go to them and try to make a deal. Because if they're not part of these big corporate conglomerates, you can make deals with these people because you're not going to be their average customer. You're not going to be, most people rent a vehicle like maybe once a year, once every 2 years, once every 3 years. I don't remember the last time I rented a vehicle. I think it was when we went out to like California. Usually we Uber and all that kind of stuff, as I'm sure you guys do too. But the point is that if you set up a pallet deal or a couple pallet deals and you need to rent a vehicle once a week, once every 2 weeks, a couple times a month, whatever the case may be, you're not their average customer anymore. You're someone who's going to be renting and spending money with them on a regular basis until your pallet business grows enough where it just no longer makes sense to rent. I would try to strike a deal with one of them and see if you can get a better rate if you come and rent from them twice a month or 4 times a month or whatever the case may be. I would definitely look into that, guys, and try to find a local place. Plus, it's always better to have local connections and networking, and you never know, the people that you rent from could turn into a referral for a pallet deal. You just never know. All right, guys, that is it for this video. If you are thinking about going the rental route to get started, I highly recommend that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And in fact, it may even be a smarter way to grow, to have your business pay for itself as you grow and turn this thing from a side hustle to a full-time hustle. I will see y'all on the next one.